and then we're going to have a break, and then we're going to have really nice Kurdish music. So our next guest, he's a really special guest, Dr. Farokh Zandi. He's a professor in the economics area and the associate director of undergraduate program at Schulich School of Business, York University. He holds a Ph.D. in economics from Carleton University, Ottawa, a Master of Arts in Economics from Lakehead University, Thunder Bay, and a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Business Administration from Pahlavi University, Iran. He has also served as a consultant for various public and private enterprises, including Ontario Ministry of Health, Ontario Ministry of Trade and Economic Development, Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Immigration, Human Resources Canada, Economic Council of Canada, China Minister of Agriculture, China Fujian Province Banking Sector, and China Ministry of Energy, and finally, Dr. Zandi is the president of Iranian Green Seculars of Toronto.
Thank you, Sarah, for a very nice introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege to be invited here on the 22nd anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Ghassemlou. It's also an honor to be among the esteemed colleagues here who have spoken very eloquently and enlightened us as to the nature of terrorism and human rights in the current regime. I greet you with a heart full of sorrow and rage at the horrors unfolding in every corner of the Iranian society. In its cities and streets, in its workplace, in its universities and colleges. I cannot but feel outrage and repugnance at the regime that has occupied my homeland and has taken 70 million of my compatriots prisoners. This week is the 22nd anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Ghassemlou, the leader of the Democratic Party of Iran, who was murdered in Vienna, Austria, on July 13, 1989, by Iranian assassins. As was mentioned by Carol before, the Iranian authorities have said Dr. Ghassemlou's murder, as well as the assassination of his successors, Dr. Farokh in Berlin in 1992, have been ordered by top Iranian officials, but the Austrian government has never denounced the Islamic Republic as responsible for its crime. This despicable act, however, was neither unprecedented nor was an isolated criminal act. Iran has executed tens of thousands of suspected government opponents in the last 32 years and kept a huge number of political prisoners languishing in jail. Opposition activists have been targeted for attack in the past, and even Iranian dissidents who fled abroad have not been safe. In fact, the cases of long-term political prisoners held without trial and suspected executions of government opponents both inside and outside Iran by government agents are prevalent and commonplace. The regime of the Islamic Republic of Iran is without a doubt the world's most notorious advocate of threat and hatred, on a path to annihilate, not only to annihilate the greatest threat to its existence, the Iranian people, but also to uproot all that are perceived as civilized. 2 years ago, we witnessed the image of a young woman by the name of Neda, who was shot by a Basij sniper in front of her father and before millions of eyes around the globe. The world would never forget the anguish and desperation of the father's voice as he watched his daughter bleed to death before his eyes. This is just one snapshot of the savagery that has been unleashed against the millions that have peacefully protested for their democratic rights. Thousands more have been beaten, stabbed, murdered, tortured, imprisoned, or simply disappeared from the streets, homes, and hospitals. We will not forget that many of our young people were arrested during 2009 protests, were taken to Iran's notorious Karizak prison, where they were brutally beaten, tortured, and raped. The activists of the Green Movement have disappeared from Iranian society. Intellectuals, students, senior officials, and clerics who joined the quest for freedom and reform are now either locked away or silenced forever. Many of them were forced to appear in humiliating televised show trials where they confessed their so-called crimes, clearly under duress. Many have been given severe punishments after a highly questionable process of Iranian courts. According to the Amnesty International report, in 2010, Iran led the Middle East in credible reports of executions, with more than 300. The US State Department said Iran imposed the death penalty on 312 people last year. This month alone witnessed secret executions to continue in Iran. On one single day, the regime executed 33 prisoners, 25 of whom were hanged in Al-Hisar prison. Iran indeed is the world champion in applying the death penalty to adolescents and sexual offenders, including those who commit adultery, and homosexual acts. Mass public hanging, as well as secret executions in prisons, are routine in the tyrannical Islamic Republic of Iran. The regime stigmatizes, victimizes, and murders people without any due process of law. On the slightest suspicion, they arrest, convict, and execute. This repression has been increasingly targeting a wider and wider profile of people who are allegedly dissidents, nearly the entire population. The Islamic Republic of Iran has also the dubious distinction of executing more children, those under the age of 18, than any other country in the world. Furthermore, the systematic campaign of religious persecution against Baha'is and the harassment, imprisonment, and torture faced by all minorities or vulnerable individuals are instigated and perpetuated by the authorities of this regime. Today, the Islamic Republic of Iran is one of the greatest threats to the stability of the civilized world and humanity at large. In international law, large-scale and systematic murder, torture, imprisonment, disappearances, persecution on political and religious grounds, all the policies being pursued by some of the Iranian leaders today qualify as crimes against humanity. Those in the leadership that order or tolerate those acts bear individual criminal responsibility. Against this horrific background, one wonders, what does it mean to be Iranian? What does it mean to be a human being? These are the questions confronting the Iranian people at this crucial juncture in their long history. I'm making a quote from Pahlavi from McGill University, who says, "We are witnessing a struggle for the soul of the nation, the struggle to build a new identity for the Iranian people. The encounter between the protesters and their tormentors is an encounter between the dark past and the bright future. It is an encounter between violence and non-violence, between the courage of those that are willing to sacrifice their lives for justice, and the cowardice of those that savagely beat and murder the defenseless. It is an encounter between the best and the worst potential inherent in humankind. For the people of Iran, democracy and human rights are not intellectual abstractions. Freedom and tolerance are not about idle theological disputes. For them, these are existential needs in the face of a daily onslaught of violence, deception, corruption, and hatred. For them, these demands go to the very meaning of what it means to be Iranian and what it means to be a human being. What they seek simply is an Iranian nation where every citizen enjoys fundamental human rights. Over its lifespan, Islamic Republic zealots have tried many times to cleanse the pre-Islamic Persian heritage in the name of Islam. First, they declared war against the Persian New Year, Nowruz, and then they attacked other Persian traditions and customs. As most of you are aware, they have started to bring down monuments, including the statue of Ferdowsi from his birthplace, Tus. According to the World Encyclopedia, cultural genocide is a term used to describe the deliberate destruction of the cultural heritage of a people or nation for political or military reasons. Since its inception 32 years ago, Islamic Republic of Iran has been in constant war with the Iranian people as well as the Iranian culture. It is ample evident that Islamic Republic of Iran is beyond repair and beyond reform in every facet of life. The time has come to acknowledge that warnings, petitions, negotiations, the policy of carrots and sticks have exhausted their usefulness. It is time for a sweeping regime change, hopefully a democratic.